why did you select plant physiology? You can answer in Sinhala or English, doesn't matter. ඇයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ plant physiology course එක තෝරගන්න හිතුවේ? Is it because you think that it is a mandatory requirement in the level 4, those who are offering botany as a major, or else do you have any other reasons? Who would like to answer my question? කවුද කැමති මගේ question එකට answer කරන්න? So I think first of all there is a sort of a convention in the plant physiology when you naming your profile, you have to put your registration number first and the first name, right? So I can see some of you have done it, but not all. So I'll give you some time to do that. And the other thing is, usually when I am explaining something, I usually ask questions, right? So if you are not coming forward to answer those questions voluntary, what I would do is I call upon your names or the registration numbers, right? And if I found that you are not responding to that call, reluctantly, what I do is I will put you back into the waiting room. You won't be able to follow for some time. So that's my practice. Therefore, when I ask a question, doesn't matter whether you are giving a correct answer or wrong answer, but you need to give an answer, right? So I am here to correct you. Therefore, try your best.
Sir,
Yes.
Miss Rina, I think this is the major part of studying about plants. When we skip this one, we will lose many things. We have to study the plants about plants.
Okay.
That's why I choose this one.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So actually, I want to tell the first thing is I chose botany as my major subject because I like gardening. So I used to know more about the plants. That is the main reason.
Okay.
And then when it comes to plant physiology, so I can see, so mainly we are studying the functions about the plant. So something like how do they absorb the water, minerals, and those stuffs. So we get a brief idea about the plants. So as a science student, I think it's very important for me to know those stuffs. And also if I'm doing the gardening section.
So Sanuja, what's your opinion?
ගිය අවුරුද්දේ යාළුවෝ අත්‍තරම ගොඩක් කට්ටිය රිසර්ච් කරන ඉතින් දැක්කා ඒ හින්දා මට ආස හිතුණා මේ පාර මේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක ගන්න.
Yes.
Can I share with in Sinhala?
No problem.
ඇත්තට මේක ගොඩක් හොඳුන අපි ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එහෙම ගොඩක් කරානේ. එකට මම කැන්ඩි ස්ටුඩන්ට් කෙනෙක්. කැන්ඩි රීජනල් සෙන්ටර් එකේ. අපි කොළඹ ආවා. එහෙම ඇවිල්ලා තමයි ප්‍රැක්ටිකල් කරේ. ඇත්තටම ලොකු හොඳ එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එකක් ලැබුණා. ඒ වගේම ගොඩක් දේවල් ඉගෙන ගත්තා තනියම කණ්ඩායමක් හැටියට කොහොමද අපි වැඩ කරන්නේ. ඒ හැමදේම අපිට ලැබුණා. ඇත්තටම හොඳයි සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක මම කැමතියි.
You would see that there are different reasons for different people to be here. So anyway, the outcomes are going to be the same. The way that they are going to adopt it or apply it would be different. So in this lecture, I will focus on to explain you about the importance of plant physiology and also about plant physiology as a subject, and then work in the laboratories and practical projects and the group projects and also the evaluation methods, right? So you know that the plants are very diverse and we are making use of plants in various ways. We are making use of the various parts of the plants. So the whole world is thriving on plants, right? The plant is the primary producers. Therefore, the knowledge on plant is very important for us because there is a very strong bond between the plant and ourselves. So as one of these students said, if suppose she wants to study the plant physiology because she likes gardening, right? even when you are doing gardening, you need to know about the plant, how it behaves, what are the responses it exert to the external stimuli, and what would happen if forgotten to water, and what would happen if the watering is done in excessively, likewise, right? So therefore, so there are many things that we can learn from plants, right? We all know the plants are the very selfless organisms in the world, which allow them even provide the shade to a person who acts the plants, right? Acts himself. So therefore, or the cut it. So therefore, the plants are somewhat a noble group of organisms. And also, we know that plants are make use of for various purposes, right? So there is a very high diversity in plants. So some of the plants are very small, like this Wolfia globosa. You can see how small are they. And also you can see the squadendron tree, the redwood trees, which are very, very large in size, right? So there is such a variability, and all of these uh, types are very important for the life, right? We know that we study even algae under the plant sciences, and we know what is the importance of the algae, right? So without algae we can't even live in this world, because they are on one hand they are primary producers, and they are releasing a lot of oxygen to this world, and also they are uh, even absorbing a lot of carbon dioxide. If they did not absorb such an amount, the world would be a different place, because we know that when the carbon dioxide concentration goes up, we face the situation called the greenhouse effect, right, where the temperature goes up. And the other thing is, the plant is a source of energy as well, right? Now we speak of green energies, uh, and the plants are being used to harness energy from the fuel wood, and to the level of the some of the ethanols or the fuel types that are derived or the extracted from the plants. And also we know one of the most important thing of even studying the botany is, so the botany is a field that directly contribute for the food security in the world, right? So we all know that the world rely on a very few number of staple foods, and rice is one of that. Can one of you tell me what are the other staple foods in the world? So without taking much time, because there are a lot of things that we need to discuss, who would like to say what are the other types of staple foods in the world? Is Udari here?
Wheat,
Sorry? Yes.
wheat,
Wheat, yes. Rice,
maize,
wheat, maize, what
maize,
else? Okay. What else?
Corn,
Hmm? Corn and maize are the
corn, sir.
same. Corn and maize are the same, right? Uh, what else? And do you know any tuber crop which is considered as a staple food? A tuber crop. So these are
Potatoes,
grains.
manioc,
Yes,
manioc,
manioc, cassava, right? Not the potato, right? It's a cassava which is used in the African continent. So likewise, so there are there is a where there are many uh, staple so the staple foods are very important for the food security in the world, right? To cut off the reduce the hunger. And also these foods are also the main source of proteins, the main source of minerals, right? And also the main source of energy. And we know that the beverages, what are the beverages, spices, the vegetables that we harness, right, from the plant. So we all rely on these things. And there is a Sri Lanka is famous because of some of these beverages and spices. We know that Sri Lanka is famous for its tea and also for the cinnamon, right? The Sri Lanka is the only country that produce the true cinnamon in this world, right? The 90% of the cinnamon requirement in the world, the true cinnamon requirement is fulfilled by the Sri Lanka. Therefore, Sri Lanka has a lot of potential in terms of the cinnamon. So there are various types of cinnamon grow in the world, right? So if you look at the China has its own cinnamon, which is a type of a cassia plant, not a Cinnamomum verum, and it has been found that the coumarin in that plant is not that good for the health of the human being. Therefore, the people now are shifting from this traditional cinnamon types to this Sri Lankan cinnamon. And Sri Lankan cinnamon has shown that it has a lot of medicinal effects, and there are many research went on these things, and therefore the cinnamon are now getting popular, and there is a increasing demand. So the tea is also the same. You can see the plucking tea here. And can anybody tell me what is this? What do you see this? Can anybody tell me what is this? You can make a sort of a judgment. Who's the number 423553074 423 55 30 74 කවුද? වහම නම වෙනස් කරන්න. Who's the number 423553074? Okay, so I'm asking a question. So what is this? What are these? Can anybody tell me? කවුද කැමති?
Terrace cultivation.
Huh? Terrace cultivation.
Terrace cultivation.
No, I am asking what is the crop here. Can you make a guess?
Tea plantation?
Yeah, it's a tea plantation, right? So this photo was taken in China. You can see how the Chinese tea are cultivated. So because they are using the machineries, they maintain the plants in this way. However, we are not using machineries. Therefore, you can see the way that we maintain the plants are different, right? So you can see that the difference. Okay, the other one is the floriculture. The Sri Lanka, floriculture is anyway, it is the plants are cultivated for the aesthetic value. And in the floriculture, so many, flower types are, the leaf types are used, and there is a very high market for those things. Sri Lanka has all, favorable climate and weather type for the floriculture, but our market is not developing. And this is a sort of it's pity to see that we have all conditions conducive for floriculture industry, but we are not. However, the countries like Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda, so those countries, they don't have so ideal conditions like us, but still now they are catching up the market. So so this is one of the possible markets that if one of you would like to step on, can think about. And Netherlands is the topmost country with the floriculture. They are having the main stake of the floriculture, and so Sri Lanka also can achieve the same status because of the condition and also the location it is having, but still we are not developed in that way, right? So the floriculture is a field that is directly connected with the botany. And industries like cotton, rubber, right? So you all know these are raw materials, and the plants are used to harness or the harvest this raw material. And also we know that the plants are even cultivated for various type of medicines and also for the narcotics, right? Nicotina, tobacco, the Erythroxylum cocoa, Papaver somniferum. So those are, uh, the narcotics. However, the narcotics are in fact medicines on one hand side. So the misusing these medicines make it a narcotic, and we all know about the the ganja that we are having. So there is a very good market for that, but we can't grow it because of the laws as well as the misusing, the potential for the misusing. And so we are also always study not only about the plant life, but also the influence of external factors on the plant. So you could see here, so this is some of the stresses, the study on the stresses of plant. So you would see here on the right, your left side, so the salt tolerance situation, the same rice varieties, only difference is the rice varieties on the uh, you can see the control here, and this is the one with the treatment. And you would see without treatment in the control, all plants are growing well. But under the control, when the treatment is given, that means when the salinity is induced, you would see some plants are affected, especially the wild type. However, the other plants are not affected because they have been uh, changed genetically so that they can cope up the or withstand the salinity stress. Similarly, you would see the coal stress, the experiment on the coal stress, and what the coal stress, how the coal stress affect the plants. So these are also some of the stresses, and we will be studying about some other stresses as well. The coal, the temperature, the flood, right? Or that the excessive water, all these things causes the stresses on the plant. And this is about the flood tolerance. So you would see on your left side the salinity experiment. So the one species or the one variety of rice is tolerant to the salinity, whereas the other one is not. You would see they have been dried up, right? The difference in the rice is the same variety, or rice are sativa, but because of the varietal differences, uh, and which underscore the genetic differences. So you would see how they look like under the stress condition. So there, this plant on the left side are growing well, while the susceptible plants are not, because the some of the genetic components are different in those susceptible plants. So similar experiment can be seen on the right side, where the flood tolerance is shown, and you would see that the floods usually some plants, you can see it's like a sort of a square shapes, right? The susceptible plants are in the uh, other parts, while the tolerant plants can be still seen intact even under the flooded condition. So these are true experiments. And this is another one. So you would see that the some stresses, right? So can you see the height of this rice variety on the right side, your left side? And if you look at, have a closer look, this rice is all grown in a tank, right? That means all these rice are thriving in water, right? So if you can see in the underneath, it is a water, and these plants are having a very tall stem just to emerge out of the water. And so you can see the rice can be grown in that way. On the left side, you would see another stress. You can see there is a yellowish color appearing some parts. So that's a nutritional deficiency. Mostly it is either sulfur or the pH condition or the nitrogen or the urea requirement, right? So last year or the year before, we could see when we were traveling, there were a lot of paddy fields with this yellowing. The reason was we did not have the chemical fertilizers at that time, right? And these are some of the experiments that we carry out in different places. So our students are working on these things, and you also be able to work on with this type of setups. These are large scale screening that we carried out. So the based on these outcomes, so you can make a research publications at different levels, and even at this level, if you are really prepared, we are really uh, prepared to help you in making a publication. So the when you come into the, I mean now come into the core of the plant physiology, you would see. So the plant physiology is studying about the not only about the plant but also about the relationship of the plant with the external environment. So the plant needs the minerals, the water, and it needs the light, and also the inside of the plant there are a lot of metabolic actions going on, and transporting takes place, and the absorbing of carbon dioxide and releasing of the carbon dioxide as well as oxygen, and also the water takes place. So therefore it's a very dynamic situation is with can be seen inside the plant as well as the around the plant, though we can see the plants are very sessile and they are just staying as they are, but many things are going on. And this is a type of interpretation of metabolic reactions that takes place in a part of the cell, and you would see, and these are usually developed through the bioinformatic uh, infrastructure. So you can see the complexity of the metabolic reaction and also the interconnectivity of the metabolic reactions. And this is some of the applications that may be that we can contribute to. If you look at, this is the one of the staple food, the rice, and there is a increase in the demand for rice, right? So according to the reports, so the you can see the rice demand is going up, and it is necessary to cultivate 114 million tons of rice by 2035. So to cultivate this, either we have to increase the productivity of the plant, or we have to extend the uh, so we have to extend it to some other lands, right? And when we go to the other lands, so most of the time those lands are not that much conducive and there are always stresses, then we have to improve the stress tolerance in plant. So all these things are interconnected with what you say is interconnected with the plant sciences. So you would see, and these are some type of a slug. However, it has the algae grown, and this algae is photosynthesizing. Okay, so this is just a, type of interconnectivity that I am showing. Right, now coming on to the what are the course learning outcomes that these are the outcome is what you are getting from the course, right? And these are the things that we are going to test on you. Our study materials, all learning materials are aimed at developing yourself with these facilitating you to get these outcomes. On the other hand, we are testing you also whether you have got these outcomes, right? So at the end of the course, what you should be able to do is understand the significance of plant life and distinguish its uniqueness. So how significant are they, and how unique are they, and what are the uniqueness they have, and also would be able to describe and compare the major functions and processes occurring in the plant. We know the functions like it has the respiration, it has a photosynthesis, right? And there are many processes like respiration, transport, etc. And you would be able to analyze the effect of external environmental factors on physiological processes and discuss how they are being regulated. So already you have seen what would happen when the salinity increases, what would happen when the temperature changes. So that's just an observation. However, you should be able to explain why there is such a difference or such a change occurs in the plants, right? And also you have to discuss the areas of current research in plant physiology. So we have made available some of these research papers in the learning management system, so you can read them through. and always our final papers has some research outcomes based questions, right? And also discuss some practical applications of physiological research. So the course organization is like that. It has a structure. There are three main course materials, printed course materials. One on the water relations, the other one on the plant metabolism, and finally plant growth and development. So there are learning aids, the course material, the learning management system, a comprehensive learning management system is maintained, and also there are some audio visual resources. We are also preparing some more, and there is a laboratory component which is very important in your learning, and this is where you learn by doing. And also there are day schools like this, and also there are some other interactive sessions including the research projects that where you can learn. Now I am going to introduce you briefly about the course units in the different day schools. The first day school that is coming up in the 31st of this month, as far as I can remember. The plants and water, the free energy, chemical potential, water potential, etc. would be learned. And we will also look into the soils and water and absorption and movement of water in the plants. And the stomata you all know about, where the transpiration occurs and what are the stomatal physiology. And then we will look at the final transpiration. And in the second one, we look at what's going on inside the plant, mineral nutrition, enzymes, photosynthesis, photochemical and biochemical reactions of photosynthesis, different pathways of CO2 fixation, respiration, alternate pathways of respiration, and breakdown of some storage plant material. We know that the plant has, there are many materials which are broken down to its precursors or its sources, so that the new materials can be synthesized. And the course unit 3 or the day school 3 is more or less targeted plant growth and development, the phytohormones, the gibberellins, cytokinins, ethylene abscisic acids, plant movements, control of flowering, dormancy of buds and seeds and plant under stresses. So these are very more practical applications are discussed in the final section. So although I put this day school 1, 2, 3, there can be more than this. The day school can be more than 3, and we would suppose if we have such a, there are more than, let's say we have 6 day schools, we will split these course units into then half for each day school, right? Okay, so this is the layout of the LMS. So I am not going to explain a lot, many of these things. You are already familiar with the learning management system, and it has the course information, day school, presentation, audio, visuals, and all these things, and also the plant physiology practicals and many other things are most all things are in the this learning management system. And in addition to that, the learning management system has the compulsory reading material where you need to read, and there can be questions from those materials. So anyway, you have to train yourself reading these research publications, which is not that easy, but still I know that you can do it. So this is about the plant physiology, the grouping. So the group and sessions, everything are maintained in the learning management system. And not only that, some of the tests are also done in the learning management system. We used to have a very good testing system based on the learning management system. However, now we are not practicing it, but I am pretty sure in near future we would be using this. And also the learning management system has M-learning. There are some places to record your feedback as well. And even you are submitting your assignments, reports to the learning management system, and we do the marking in the learning management system using the system that it has for marking assignments, using the rubric, and you can see how your marks have been given, so that you can make use of this feedback for reflective development. Okay. So when you look at the day school 1, so we study the functions of water, and also we study about the water potential concept, soil and water movement in plant. You know, the water movement in the plant are of two types: the horizontal movement and the upright movement towards the leaves, and also the stomata. And also in the second day school, or the second section, you would study about the plant nutrition and what are the factors that affect the nutrient availability, like pH, and also the enzymes, the photosynthesis, right? And also the different types of photosynthesis like CAM, C3, C4, and the metabolic reactions that takes place in the photosynthesis, the respiration, and also the unique pathway in the plants called the pentose phosphate pathway. And in the final phase, you would be looking at the growth and development, which is the outcome of what you have learned in the previous sections. And the relative growth rate, the net assimilation rate, and some of these the factors which are using which we are used to study the changes that occur in the plants, like the relative growth rate, the net assimilation rates. And then we study about the plant hormones, right? Their functions, their synthesis, and also the practical applications, right? So we will look into the auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acids, ethylene and racinosteroids, and there are structures. We need to know about the structure, the biosynthetic pathways, the transport, and the physiological functions and the commercial applications. And we also look at the movement of plant, like phototropism. And one of the another interesting thing is you know that some plants are not flowering in some periods in some seasons because they want shorter days. Some plant need the longer days. So being a tropical country, we don't have that many number of plants which is sensitive for the length of the daytime, which we call the photo period. However, if you go to the subtropical area, there are a lot of plants for that, right? Even the rice is a short day plant, but now most of the time the short day characteristics have been drifted during the improvement process, right? And then we would look into the plant under stress. The stressors can be biotic as well as abiotic, and we usually pay attention to the abiotic stresses. And it can be water, heat, and also the stress responses are very intricate mechanism in the plant, and any person who engage with improving the plant for the stress tolerance must know about these pathways, must know about the genes behind these pathways, and we change those genes so that the outcome is also changed. And also the improving the tolerance, so there are so many ways we can improve the plant tolerance to the various environmental factors, and also for the biotic stresses such as some insects, pathogens, right? And also we would also look into the pollution stresses of the plant. So that's the in nutshell what you have to learn, right? Do you have any question for that? Do you have any question on what we have already discussed? Any questions? No? No? Oh yes. Hansani, do you have any question? Oh, Durmini?
No, sir.
No? Are everything clear?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So then we will get into the practical session. So the plant physiology practicals are usually organized according to the sessions, right? The first session is the permeability. The second session is the stomatal transportation, mineral nutrition. And in the third session, we looked into the enzymes. In the fourth session, the photosynthesis and respiration. And fifth one is growth hormones and the final assessment. Usually we conduct this plant physiology practicals in laboratories and also in some greenhouses, and also there is a opportunity for you to do it at home, right? So I will explain you those things later. Anyway, so let's say if we take the session 1, which is the permeability and stability of plasma membrane and water relations. So the first week we have Sunday, Monday, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So every day we are doing these things. So the different groups are coming on different days, right? So you are grouping in that way. So you don't need to stay a whole week, right? So you have to come on Monday if you are group 1. If you are in the group 2, you have to come on Tuesday, group 3 on Wednesday, and so on. You have to come on that way. And the next practical, the next session would be in the another week, and then you have to, if you are group 1, again come on the Monday, group 2 come on the Tuesday. Likewise, you have to come on that way. So you don't need to spend time staying in the university or in Colombo, or coming through getting leave of absence from your working places for whole year, all week through this time. Not only that, we have also found this method is very important because you are getting time to learn. So otherwise you are doing it on Monday, then doing it on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and ultimately you get the test. You don't have time to study. So therefore we are giving the time for you to study, and this is the one of the most feasible mechanism for you to develop higher order learning skills in plant physiology, right? And then we have practical experiments. So you can see what are the practical experiments that we are having. We are looking into the effect of chemical substances and temperature on membrane permeability, and we looked at the measurement of rate of transpiration, hydroponic culture, the monovalent cation analysis, studying the effect of heat, and also many other experiment on the enzymes. And also we study the effect of carbon dioxide on the rate of photosynthesis, and also the leaf chlorophyll analysis or the leaf pigment analysis. And also we looked into the anatomical aspects of plants like C3 and the C4 plant for leaf anatomies. And also we do the experiments with application of some plant hormones such as oxygen gibberellins, and see how the plants are responding to these things, right? So we know that these hormones are having practical applications. So therefore it is very interesting and very helpful and useful for you to study on these plant hormones as well. So the modes of practicals, there are 3 modes. One is called the OARP, the other one is the laboratory, and the other one is the group project, right? So the OARP is name as online assisted remote practical session, where you would be doing the practicals remotely, but you would be assisted real time during the period. So you don't need to come to the lab, but you have to do everything at home, and you have to find the list of material that we are giving you by yourself and prepare everything and do the practicals at home, and we will be watching you as well as assisting you, guiding you through the online platforms like Zoom, right? And these actually we developed this practical session during this COVID, but we found later on it is going to be very important for you as a student, though we as a lecturers taking a lot of pain and effort in organizing this type of a thing. For you it is very easy, you are staying at home, but you have to pay some attention or do some work to find out these alternative materials. Still it is developing yourself at a great scale. That's what we realize. Therefore we are continuing it. And this is a similar lab setup that has been developed by one of your seniors, you can see. So the materials are organized now, ready to do the practicals, right? Even the plants and also some of other materials, including the vinegar and some pigments and all, everything have been. And also you can see in the back there is a instrument that they have developed using the syringe system to measure the rate of photosynthesis. You can see they have done it at home, so you can think out of box and do all these things by yourself at home and show it up to us. And these are not a new things. So even in the some of the overseas universities, when the student is registering, they are giving a tool kit, and using this toolkit they can do the practicals at home. So we are also heading towards such a thing, but we can't give the toolkit now. So you have to find it out by yourself. Suppose if you are going to give it, let's say not in this year but in the next year, definitely it will be added to your practical cost, because we are giving the material, you are doing it at home, and so anyway that cost would be added. But now we don't, you have to find those things by yourself. And then when we come to the practical assessment, right? So the practicals are conducted in a the first practical session is as I said, it's a OARP, where you don't need to come. You have to do it by yourself at home. And then from the next practical, the second session onward, you have to come to the practicals to the laboratories. So the practical report, at last, after 5th week, we will be assessing you, and there are so many ways to assess you. I am just citing these things, I am not going to explain. The reason is I will be explaining these at the practical day school. So the practical report has to be presented, a group project report has to be presented, lab manual which is given to you has to be given for marking, and all these things are getting the marks. And even for the online assisted remote practical, you have to do a report, and those reports are not time demanding. You just have to get the photograph of different experiment that you carried out at home and put them, upload them to the learning management system, and we will do the marking. And also the practical assessment would also be there. However, the mode of practical assessment can be different, right? Earlier we used to give a practical assessment on paper basis, but the last year we conducted it as a viva voce, and we found that it is more productive than giving a paper, right? And this is the way that the CAM marks are calculated. So the 30% from the no book test, 30% from the open book test, and 40% from the practical assessment. So you would see that there's a very high contribution from the practicals, right? So if you know that overall mark is 40% from the CAM plus the 60% final examination. And these are some of the setups the students have done at their home. And you can see this is one of the potato strip based experiment on the osmosis, and they have done it using they have prepared the concentration gradient at home and have done it with the material that they have. At the same time, you can see some of the students have even purchased the test tubes. So the online remote practical session, we have done some analysis as well by using a questionnaire, and you can see this there are two things. So the one on the left is from the 2023 students, and one from the right side is from the 2024 students. You would see that, so they have said that this is the first experience of themselves, and you would see it is the same in most of the time. However, the percentages are now different. In the last year, there's a very high percentage who says that it's their first experiment, first experience. And then you can see that when we ask the question, so the training I received through the online assisted remote practical will help me to carry out in-lab practicals effectively in the subsequent sessions. So the many of the students have said yes. So the training that they are getting at home under this OARP practical sessions are very useful for them to carry out the next phase at the labs. So this is another positive thing actually they have gained through this. Right, so these are some more setups that they have done at home. The hydroponics, you can see these are the potometers that they have developed uh, at home using the syringe and the saline tubes. And these are some of the experiments they have done to see the effect of ethylene on ripening process. So the OARP method in fact involves the staff needs to select the suitable practicals, and the student have to do the preparations, and when we do all these things there's a creativity always embedded. So this is a very productive step. That's what we have observed throughout, therefore we will be doing. Then let's have a look on the laboratory practical session, where you have to come to the lab, you have to follow some guidelines, you have to do the practicals in the lab. So I am not going to explain this the work in the laboratory. So we will also look at the 80% attendance for this laboratory practicals. And also the practical reporting has to be done. As I said, you have to do the practical manual complete while you are doing all the things in the lab, and also the practical report needs to be submitted, and the report is different to the lab manual, and the report is just you have to select one experiment and do a proper reporting, right? And then we will look into these group projects. So the group projects are usually carried out during the practical period, where you are grouped into different groups in the lab. Usually the lab has 5 groups. So based on these groups, so they can develop a small research project by themselves with the assistance of the demonstrator, and then they can get the materials from the lab and do these experiments, and they can submit a group research project. And this group research project is very important because they are all the members who are in the group are getting the marks, right? Suppose if we offered 10 marks to that group project, so everybody who are in the group getting. So that's the way that we conduct everything, and you would see the similar thing. This is about the practical how the practical different components are contributing for the course learning outcomes, right? The practical report is directly contributing to the course learning outcome 5. Lab manual is the same, but the group project is course learning outcome 2, course learning outcome 6, all are updated through that, right? And also I told you about the Viva Voce exam that we practiced last time. It was a success, and we could see that the students who are coming to the lab are not saying what comes into their mind because we are in front. When we ask a question, they think and they try their best to give the best possible answer, and thereby they get, most of the students got good marks. I know that when we give a paper, so you are sometimes writing as the things come into your mind, and that's not going to be a correct one. And this oral test that we conducted, you would see we were given opportunities to students to look into the computer, and not in in the computer screen the question is displayed, and we are orally asking questions, and then based on the answer that we are getting, so we assign the marks, and it was very successful thing. However, it needs lot of effort from our side. We have to engage throughout for this, and it takes time. Let's think about, we have nearly 270 students registered in this course, and let's have a look on the time it takes. Even the 70, even the 200 turn up, right? And these are some of other the views of the same experiment. You can see that actually there are random numbers given, and based on these random numbers they have to uh, select the question, and the questions come randomly through the question bank, and then they have to answer. Answers are graded at the on-site, and it's really beneficial for both students, and students are also getting trained to uh, sit for the Viva Voce exam, which is more or less like an interview. And again, I am going to stress you about the importance of the practical assessment. So here you would see, if you get 50 marks for the practical assessment, the 40% of 50 marks going to be 20, right? And then when the overall mark is calculated, the 40% is taken out from that. The 40% of the 20 is 8 marks, which is directly contributing to your uh, overall mark, which is a very high number, and there would be a very high impact. It can change the fail student to the pass student, and even the student with the C to the B or the B to A, right? So because then it's a large number of mark, the quantity of the mark is very high, but you have to do a lot of work to get this, right? That I must say. And also you would see the course learning outcomes of the course. So these are familiar to you now, and these course learning outcomes are always aligned with the program learning outcome. What are the program learning outcome? So the program learning outcomes are the outcomes that comes to the BSc degree, and we have aligned that on how you are getting that. And this is some of the examples on how we have done this OARP marking. So you submit, and we assign the marks in this one also in this LMS itself, and we are not going to get any printouts, and you can see from your side as how the marking have been done. And that because we are using this type of a rubric, and once we get this report, we read it, and we just click on this rubric, the cages, and the marks will be added automatically. All right, so that's the way. So with that, I am going to conclude this session, right? So I gave you a brief overview, not the brief, it's a somewhat comprehensive overview about what you have to do. So you have to do some work, you have to do some sacrifice, you have to work hard in the plant physiology, and we are always trying to give you the best possible conditions to work on. At the same time, put you in the best possible condition for learning, right? So you may find it a little bit hard sometimes, but doesn't matter, it will be rewarding. Okay, so therefore we always advise you to pay more attention and be engaged with and do the work well, right? And before I conclude, I would like to get if to know whether you have any questions. Any questions on this, what I explained already? Do you have any questions? No, right. It's all right. So if you don't have questions, if you have question, it's good for you. If you don't have question, it's good for me, right? I am not going to bothered about it. And mind you, again, in the university, the learning is a responsibility of the student, and our responsibility is put you in the condition where the learning could occur. Even if you don't learn, so it is your fault, and you will be the one who's going to be penalized. Nothing would happen to anybody else. Therefore, take the responsibility into your hand now, in this year onward, and do it well, and then the rest of the life you can turn back and enjoy yourself that you have done well at the university, and you have a very good outcomes, etc. Right, so with that I am going to conclude. So still I would like to see or hear if you have any questions. If it is not, can any of you say by looking at or by listening or participating into this, were you able to get at a idea that you are going to fulfill what you thought of when you were joining to the plant physiology, right? So whether you are going to get the what you wanted through the plant physiology now, because I know that you came to here thinking about making some assumptions or presumptions, but now you know what you have to do, right? So do you still see it is still in your, I mean, in agreement with what you want, or are there any gaps? මොනාරි වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. I would like to listen to you, right, before we wind up. So who would like to come forward? So you need to be, I mean, when I ask question, so you need to. So the
So
host,
yes, sir.
yes,
Um, so I'm excited about the course, and there is more content than I expected. Actually, it's about diving deep into the functions of the plants, and yes, a bit panic too.
okay. Shashika, is this you? Right. Then who else would like to answer? Kauda Kamathi. Vatsala, are you here? Vatsala.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what's your idea or the opinion?
I think I should want to do my heart in this course.
Sorry?
I should want to do more hard in this course. Also, it will be more interest. So I would like to do it happy and my heart.
Okay. So don't you feel that this course has a lot of work?
Yes. Now I think.
Huh?
Before this explain, I didn't think that it's very high large, but now I think it's a bit large in this course.
Okay. Right. Sachini, what about you? Sachini, are you here? Sachini? Sachini, are you here? Okay. So the next time, mind you, don't come to the day school if you cannot stay throughout, and also answer the questions when I ask. Yoshita, are you here? Yoshita?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yoshita, right. Do you have anything to say?
Yes, I'm very interesting about this course. I mean, the subject. So I have a small request for you. Sir, may I?
Yes, sure.
Sir, I'm a teacher, so sometimes I'm unable to participate in the for the day school in the morning. So if the if if it is possible, the day school are conducted in the evening.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I am also prefer to have it in this time, which is very calm and quiet, and can focus on than the daytime. So we will see depending on the time, right? So
Okay, thank you.
yes, okay, thank you. Viharshana, are you here? Viharshana, 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 are you here?
ඔව් සර්.
Oh, මොනවද කියන්න තියෙන්නේ ආශා? මොනවද කියන්නද කියන්න?
කෝස් එක සර් ආසාවෙන් කරන්න හිතනවා. මේ වැඩ ගොඩක් කරන්න, පාඩම් කරන්න, රිසර්ච් වලට, ප්‍රොජෙක්ට්ස් වලට ගොඩක් කාලය යොදවලා වැඩ කරන්න මේ අපිට කරන්න ඕන කියලා තියෙනවා. ඒ ටික මට පුළුවන් උපරිම කරන්න තමයි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ සර්.
හොඳයි. right. කාට හරි මොන හරි වෙනස් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා ඉල්ලීමක් එහෙම තියෙනවා. දැන් එක ටීචර් කෙනෙක් අපෙන් ඉල්ලුවා වෙලාව සම්බන්ධව. ඒ වගේ ඉල්ලීම් තියනවාද වෙනස් කළ යුතු කියලා හිතන දේවල්. මේවා වැඩි මේවා කරන්න නැතුව ඉන්න බැරිද එහෙම අහන්න හිතෙන්නේ නැද්ද කාටවත්? නෑ.
So I have one doubt.
Okay.
Usually around which month will the practicals fall into? Because I also teach, so maybe when it comes during the school vacation time, it's very convenient to join, or else it's very
Actually,
convenient.
we have practicals across the year, right? In the both semesters, and according to the last year's schedule, we usually starting the practicals in August, but obviously we have lost about 2 months now, so therefore probably we will be having it in October. So therefore we cannot guarantee that it will fall with the school vacations. However,
Yes,
mind you that you have to come only one day in a week, not throughout.
Okay.
Therefore, it doesn't have any problem, pose any problem to you. You just have to get a leave of absence for just one day in a week.
Okay, sir. Yes. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, yes.
Can I know whether the practicals are on first semester as well, not
Yes.
only on in the second semester?
No, actually you have practicals in both semesters, right? There would be 2 groups in the first semester, and of these 2 groups you have to come only for a one group because the first group is at home, right? It's OARP, so therefore you have to come for the one group, and in the subsequent semester you have 3 usually, and that 3 include the viva worship or the practical assessment. Anybody else who would like to ask any question or even express?
Sir,
Yes.
can we choose according to our choice practical groups?
Yes. Usually we facilitate you to be with your friends in the practicals so that it is easy to work with, but that may not be the occurring in all the cases, right? There can be situations where if you have let's say more than 8 friends, then we can't put you in that, so you would be in another group like that, because the group would be having 8 to 10 students.
Can we select it via Learn OUSL or something else?
Yes, usually the groups are selected through the the LMS. Higher, you must try your best to get at the highest possible GPA when you pass out. And the other thing is the level 4 is again very important, because in the level 3 what you are doing is you are trying to get mostly you are trying to get accustomed into the degree program, right? So you are, I mean, everything is new to you, and you have come from your GCA level or even for the foundation, but the mode of learning is different. the way of teaching and everything is different than this A level. Therefore, there is a struggle in level 3, but in when you come to the level 4, it is not. Right now, you know the system well, and it is the phase where you should do your best, right? And develop yourself, right? Doing best is nothing but it's developing yourself. So we as academic always try to avail you or make you available the opportunities, right? Which are opportunities so that you avail it to yourself and develop yourself, right? So unlike we are partly we are teachers, but we are more lecturer, right? So we are uh, not doing the spoon feeding, but we put you in the situation where the learning takes place, right? Especially in the in this course, the plant physiology course, so you would find it more challenging than the other courses, because we have organized most of the activities so that it will be put you in a challenging situation in academic way, right? Not in any other way, so that you are pushed to learn, right? You are pushed to learn. So uh, these are the way that we usually follow up to put you develop yourself, right? So all these activities, the learning activities that are there in the plant physiology course, are organized and planned according to the uh, the norms and all other conditions in the universities. And our main objective is to develop yourself, right? We can give you the note, we can give you just a book, we can give you the lectures like this, but it will not develop you unless otherwise we put you in a real practical situation. So we try to put you in such a situation so that you will learn yourself. When you think into yourself, right, you will see that there are instances where you learn, and most of the time you learn things when you put into a situation that prompted you to learn, right? Or that push you to learn. That's the way. So therefore, we are trying our best for giving you the best opportunities for learning. Some of you may find it challenging, but some of you may find it very enjoying, right? Therefore, we really appreciate as well as welcome you again to the plant physiology course. And this is going to be a course with a somewhat difference in the way of conducting it, but I am pretty sure so you all will enjoy it, and you will develop yourself, grow yourself. And even though you may not be able to perform well, the activities here would enable you to grow yourself or learn yourself. And for example, we have been doing these things for nearly 14 years now. So in the last year, I've seen a difference. Among the students. So the students were highly motivated. They were doing the research projects very nicely, very actively, and 3 of those groups, right, involved in the research project were able to even make a publication, right, in the iHours or the Journal of the Open University. So those are real achievements. So besides your marks that you are getting, you would be getting another the publication added to your CV. So which is going to be a very, very important factor that indicates your commitment, your the motivation, as well as your skills and knowledge, right? So therefore, I am inviting you all to experience this challenging journey and also reap the fruits of it by yourself, right? So that's what we are inviting you.